Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. Thank you guys for joining us. And the big news that we're talking about right now is a 7.3 magnitude earthquake. It's actually hit right on the ridge between Jamaica and Cuba. And what we have here is most definitely, because it is shallow, the potential for tsunami exactly at this location here going outwards. So that's what is the prime concern right now. We've seen so much activity on in the Caribbean plate, as we were saying about Puerto Rico. So we see here, and this is all just happening right now. It's breaking, so we're going to have to see. One of the things I'd love to do right now is just send our intentions out there. And if there is any sort of tsunami waves, use your intention and your prayers to mitigate them, because this one, it most definitely can create something devastating. So preliminary 7.3 magnitude earthquake struck. They're saying Jamaica, but it's actually the ridge right here you could see between Jamaica and Cuba around 11:10 a.m. PST. It was recorded about 73 miles southeast of Lucia, Hanover, and about 82 miles from Montego Bay. And they're quoting a depth of 10 kilometers. I had seen a different depth there before. According to the National Weather Service, hazardous tsunami waves from this quake are possible within 200 miles of the epicenter along the coast of Jamaica, Cayman Islands, and Cuba. And most definitely, this is a developing story.
It's huge. It's a huge story. All this stuff is going on. We have the virus. We have this. It's like everything is kind of sort of crumbling. I don't know what to make of it. I kind of knew with like the planetary alignments and the energies and stuff, things would get a little bit shaky. But this is kind of bad.
Yeah, this is most definitely a serious one. So, being that it's off the coast, more than likely there's going to be some severe shaking being felt in different locations. However, obviously, if this was right on, say, like Kingston, or if it was, somewhere like Havana, then you would have massive damage in those cities. The major thing, to my mind right now, is obviously the tsunami potential, which is terrifying when you think about it. And there's been so much unusual activity on the...
terrifying when you think about it.
And let me get myself down, trying to shift over there. As we were really just jumping on this so quick, was not prepared. We're just simply gathering info on the virus, which, honestly, waking up this morning and everything I'm getting from everybody out there, it's even more concerning than when we went to bed last night. So, things are developing all around. Yeah, Jules has good comments. We're going to come back live and focus on the virus a little bit later today, because there's so much info that we're gathering right now, still in the gathering phase. But, we have some group chats going on with close family members, and people spot these things and are like, oh my god, 7.3. So let's see what I had over here. Okay, this is out of Volcano Watch, and again, you can see it's basically right on that ridge, and you see the I felt it reports. Montego Bay Hotel in Montego, late shaking. Kingston, Jamaica, late shaking. Seemed to last for quite a while. Grand Cayman, severe shaking. St. Catherine, Jamaica, weak shaking. Playa del Carmen in Mexico, moderate shaking. Belize City, late shaking. You think about that. I mean, this is being felt all through this entire area here. It feels like we have gone to... It feels like, okay, to me, everything really got real in the August 2017 big eclipse that we had. Everything got real. And now it feels like as soon as we clicked into 2020, everything has just gone to a much higher level.
It really has. You know, a little bit. I don't know what to think, you guys. All I know to do is that we should prepare. Right now is like the best time to prepare. And you know, what do? You know, you got to take your power back. You got to get your own immune system up and running. You have to get your food ready. A lot of things need to be done. I feel so, my heart bleeds for these poor people in Jamaica. You know, I'm just sending as much love and good energy out to them as I can. And I'm pretty sure there is going to be a tsunami warning, or has there been a tsunami warning out on this?
Yeah, there is. You know, so there we could go. Look at the size of that sucker. Wow. Where did I see 2 kilometers? Was that CSEM? Yeah. So, yeah, CSEM is reporting a 2 kilometer depth, which is super shallow. Super shallow. You know, I got to think about the depth of the ocean there, because we're talking sea level. So there's big earth changes going on, guys. You know, it's gone to a whole new level right now, and we have a lot of things to prepare for. Okay, here they're showing 10 kilometers, and they're showing it as a 7.4.
And I just got another dear friend texted me and said some reports are saying it's a 7.7. So I don't know if this thing is going to go up or go down. Normally they downgrade them. That's what I'm used to. Yeah, normally they downgrade them. I just think now is a really good idea to get on Amazon and order your stuff, or at least get to the store and get some preparations. But most of you guys that listen here already have preparations. You're already ready as best you can anyway, you know, but don't be distracted. Like, if you can't get everything perfect, don't even worry about it. Just do anything you can do is worth doing. Anything. Other people around you are going to be prepared too. And, you know, now's a good time to like make friends with your neighbors, stuff like that, you know, reconnect with family, friends, and just have people around you that will support you.
So we see over here, GFZ is reporting it as a 7.6. EMSC is 7.2, USGS 7.3. Okay, and this is saying 7.3 as well. So, you know, it looks a little confused out there, but basically this is a big one. Here you see ABC News.
Don't want to wait weeks for your tax refund?
And we're not worried about tax refunds right now, unless we're going to use them to prep with, which is basically what we're doing. You know, I'm back in that mode. I don't call it a panic mode, but it's definitely the mode where it's like, okay, yeah, we need another thing of this. We need another thing of that. And I really don't want to go out, guys. You know, as far as go back into, say, a Walmart, you know, to pick up something. There's a lot of things we could still use, and I'm sure it's the same thing with you guys. But I really, at this point, I think it's good to hunker down. I really do. I'm not liking what I'm seeing, you know, as far as all the information on the virus and the new numbers that are coming in. Yeah, I don't like what we see. You know, obviously it's still far worse over in China than it is over here. But see, again, we have a lot of other things to prepare for as well. And yeah, so, you know, I understand that, Jules. You're saying, like, my family is too broke after Christmas to buy anything but necessities. And, you know, the amount of money that we spent on Christmas was zero, nothing. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's just our choice. Instead of buying that, you know, buying for each other and stuff, we just buy supplies, you know, buy food, buy things that might, you know, come in handy later on. Like we did buy a, whatchamacallit, a 13 by 15 screened in, you know, porch, basically, screened in room. So, you know, and that's again with the thought of being mobile or having to move. At least, you know, you know, you're getting something that's practical. So yeah, so, you know, it was the first year I didn't buy anybody anything for Christmas at all, and Good morning, Fred. Good morning, Hacksaw. Good morning, Elena. Good morning, Jack. Good morning, Marcia. Good morning, G. White. Good morning, Nathan. Nathan felt the energy last night. Yeah, I mean, I had a wild night too with all sorts of stuff coming in. I couldn't really sleep. I mean, I slept like for typical, maybe 3-4 hours, woke up at like 3 a.m. and basically stayed up for another 2-3 hours, just kind of in a meditative state. Could feel it, guys, it's thick out there. It's really thick. The energy is super thick, and there's still so much to do. And so right now I'm not worrying about it. I'm not worrying about I don't want to tell you guys screw long-term bills or what have you, but at the same time, I'm just making sure that we're stocked up on, things like I bought 50 more pounds of rice just before coming on with you guys, and I already have 25 pounds of like split peas coming, 25 pounds of lentils, all these type of long-term things. And I have the spices that if we have to just simply eat rice, lentils, beans, and just pluck some salad, because we just planted a bunch of lettuce and a lot of stuff like that, kale yesterday, and we have greens going. You're going to definitely do a lot of microgreens. That's the stuff that we're focusing on, because honestly, I really feel that we are going to an all new level again. Everything is going up another whole notch. So, we like to usually go out, 2-3 times a week just to go play pool, which we haven't done now in about 8 or 9 days, and we're not going to. So, just feeling like, exactly, kiss the sky, utilize Amazon while it lasts, because it's not going to last. Spray parcels with disinfectant, unpack them maybe outside with using gloves, throw it straight in the garbage bin, and then transfer the contents to something else, things like that. So, a lot of people are going through tough times economically, but at the same time, I'm going to be doing another video with David Dubine probably in the next day or two. I'm waiting for him to get back with a final time. And, that's the thing he's most concerned with, besides actually finding a way to get home safely now. Send your prayers for him. He's somebody that's definitely helped a lot of people realize what's coming. And so the food shortages, now that's going to be, going to an all new level as well. So not only, I would stock up as much as you can. And, I'm not telling you guys to run up your credit card bills or whatever, but, now's the time to maybe stop spending on the a little bit more frivolous ends and stuff and start looking to the future.
Hi, Michelle. You said your compass is saying west and west is north right now. I don't know if that's on a phone. If it's on a phone, reboot it. If it's not on a phone, I don't know what to tell you. But we had that kind of happen to us. We were out in the desert, and luckily we both each had a phone on us, but one was reading the exact opposite of the other one.
That was pretty crazy.
It was my Apple that was reading the opposite. And thank God we knew where we were at, because we could have gotten lost. I mean, somebody could really get hurt when you're out in that desert. It's really hot.
I wonder if this is, this is curious, because where the east is right now, it's showing me southeast. Wow, that is kind of wild. Yeah, I'm kind of getting the same thing, Michelle. I'm just checking. Now, this is on an app, and I do have an actual compass not just a couple of feet from me. This is really curious. This actually shows things have shifted. I would say, I don't know. Let's see, 60 to 120, that's 90, 30 degree shift. Something like that. That's okay. It looks like things. I'm getting weird readings too. I just want to.
Got a little compass.
And there I have an actual.
See if I got a compass. I know I got one somewhere. There you are.
Yeah, this is east is not where it was according to both my actual compass and the. That's weird.
No, I think we're okay.
No, because east was straight that way. Because now we're looking at east being right over there. You guys, check it out. Check it out, because to me it looks like it shifted a fairly good amount. So we got 208 people in the chat room. I don't know how many of you guys have compasses or have apps for compasses. Can you guys check? And those of you that know, okay, Bill says it's correct here in North Carolina, because yeah, it looks like it shifted a little bit to me. So, okay, Rob says it's moved, because I'm showing it moved. It moved like about 30 degrees, looking at where it usually is. So east is now southeast to me. So yeah, I mean, I've worked on accumulating things the last couple years, especially the last year. So I have like a survival knife with compass on it as well. There's on my keychain, I have a compass as well as an emergency whistle, just in case. Yeah, Michelle says 30, 32, 30 also. So this is interesting. These big quakes have the power to do things. We know that Mexican quake, which was a whole notch up, that was like an 8.3, that actually split a plate, which is incredible to think about. Okay, so Jack says I have an old Garmin. It's shift one whole city block updated. Okay, Bill Holmes says the other phone is 30 degrees off. That's what it looks like to me, about 30 degrees off. That is scary. Dutch is saying there'll be another quake in Puerto Rico. Yeah, I've told Cindy before that I love Puerto Rico. It's a beautiful island, beautiful people. Love the Caribbean. From my experience, it's paradise on earth. But to be on any of the islands now is scary, just because of all the changes we have going on.
There's a ton of changes going on. Today's kind of exciting. The only thing I don't like about this is when I see people get hurt, and I don't want to see people get hurt. I'm always up for, like, when the lights go out, I get a little excited because I get to pull out my little camping gear and my flashlights and candles and stuff, and that's kind of fun. But this is a little more serious. This is, going to be where we really, really are going to need all the things we've prepared for and all the things we've read and studied, and they're going to come in handy now, unfortunately. And with the compasses are off, that's really a mind boggler, because east is really way off. So, you guys, I don't know what to think of this, except for things are changing, and I kind of knew that this was going to be a bumpy year, like there was going to be social breakdown and other kinds of breakdowns, but we're only a month in to this 2020, and we've had this thing with China, and now we've already had possibly a 7.7 in Jamaica with a tsunami warning, and I'm just scared to death for those people. I don't know, you guys. It's time to get ready, time to get your stuff ready. Even, if you have books, pull out your survival books. I have a few books, because we don't even know if we're going to have internet in the next month or so. One thing I did was I printed out a lot of literature and I put it in binders just so I would have it just in case. Sometimes it depends on what's cheaper for you. I had access to a printer and binders and all this stuff, so I could do it for free. So for me, that was cheaper. For you, it might be cheaper to buy books on Amazon.
While we're thinking of it, we're seeing what's going on in Puerto Rico. And really in the threes, there's still a dozen that they're showing over here on the USGS. And that's in a 24-hour period. CSEM utilizes a 48-hour period. And so Dutch, I take it, is expecting another one in Puerto Rico. There's definitely a lot of pressure on the plates, and you can see the where this is when we look at this ridge. It's right on this ridge. This is a big drop off here. You can see how massive that drop off is. So it was interesting that they were showing 2 kilometers depth, which I have to wonder what the depth of the ocean is there. I was years ago. I went to the Cayman Islands, went to Georgetown, and then went to see Stingray City, which is about 12 miles offshore. I want to say somewhere over in here. And it was wild because we could just jump out of the boat and you're only waist high, even though you couldn't see any land anywhere. But there's this massive ridge. And so this is the plate boundary that we're looking at this being on. Yeah, right here. And so if we look at, again, let's just refresh this. People are feeling it all over. A lot more reports coming in. Look at this comment. Indianapolis, Indiana. I work for a precision specialty gas facility, and our scales have been fluctuating since about 15 minutes after the earthquake hit Jamaica. Whoa. I just sensed something too. That's why I was looking at Cindy kind of weird because I felt I could feel shaking actually in my feet, but Brickles up in Miami, weak shaking. We was told to evacuate. Strong shaking, 7 Mile Beach in the Cayman Islands. West Bay, Cayman Islands, strong shaking. Spanish Town Road in Kingston, light shaking. Very strong shaking. In St. Andrew, Jamaica. 9130 South Dadeland Boulevard, weak shaking. We felt dizzy. It's interesting how some people are very, very sensitive to these things, and other people, it's just like energy work. You know, some people are blown away by how much energy they feel, and then, you know, some don't feel as much. So we're here, Montego Bay, Jamaica. Light shaking caused quite a scare. Loud drilling, vibrating sound could be heard from the second floor. Rails and light fixtures could be seen shaking. Yeah. This one over here in Georgetown says, moderate shaking. It felt like we were in a motion simulator in our office. There was a rumble all around, difficult to walk. Then we heard a crash above us and ran out of the building to find many other office folk outside. Miami, Florida. Very weak shaking. They feel it all the way in Miami. Top floors of our building shook, and as a precaution, the entire building was evacuated, still outside in Miami. Wow. Yeah, that's making me think more like 7-7 is legit. Spanish Town. First, I thought it was a forklift or someone doing construction in the building, but then the floor started moving beneath my feet. Desk chair was moving back and forth. Laptop and monitors were shaking. Everybody around me was aware of what was happening. I could feel the building moving, so I went under my desk and started contacting my loved ones. Very scary. It lasted what seemed to be forever. I've felt earthquakes before, but not this long. You know, it's pretty wild. We have multiple reports of people feeling it in Miami.
Yeah, that's really weird. So it seems like there's a lot of things going on, or like around the world, that are happening. Yeah, energy is high. Things are just crazy. You know, look at all those comments where people could feel in Miami. And yeah, I thought I heard a rumbling when Michael said he was feeling a rumbling, which I don't know. I don't know what to make of that. There's just, I don't know if like, didn't somebody say there was a CME inbound? I thought somebody said that. Did you guys hear anything on cosmic weather?
We did see that the sun was getting active, you know, so with our shields down, we're going to be so much more vulnerable. So everything's getting amplified. And it's interesting because, yeah, I felt a couple rumbles under our feet lately since we've been on doing this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm wondering what kind of action is hitting the earth now. Whatever it is, it's pretty inbound today. Yo Basic says, I see, yes, CME Inbound. You think I wonder if that's just starting to hit, and that's why we're seeing Wages World just said this before. Oh, okay. Yeah, he would know. He's a really good one to watch.
Yeah, I think we're going to be doing a live together. What day is today? Today's Tuesday. So I think maybe Wednesday or Thursday we're going to do a live together.
Yeah, he's like one of my favorites. Absolute favorite person. I just really enjoy him. He's just has such a great energy. He's so vibrant and uplifting and positive. And even though he has to deliver some strange news, he's still really positive about how he delivers it, that's a really good thing. You know, sometimes we have to come on here and we have to talk about things that aren't so positive, but sometimes people have a way to encompass it in a certain kind of energy, and then it makes it palatable. You know, it makes that jagged pill easier to swallow. And what are we looking at here?
So one of our people, David, has been keeping track of this, and he's in the chat room now. He's been keeping track of this for me, and obviously it shifted. How much are you showing a shift, David? Is it again about 30 degrees? You know, yeah, you know, it's like wild what's going on right now. We're in definitely a period of some major changes right now going on, guys. So I'm just waiting to see what David came back. 10 to 15 degrees is what he's noticed. And that's up in the UK. Yeah, Blue Kool-Aid is Wages World. Mm-hmm. And we've been communicating a lot lately. And he's a good guy. He's a really good guy. So we like him a ton.
Wow. 8.9. Where'd you hear that, Ruby?
Yeah, what's up with the 8.9 you guys are talking about?
Wow, that's some.
Right. So they're showing this as 7.7 on USGS. They were showing 7.3, so they've upgraded this. Boy, is that unusual. That's something to take notice of. And I swear, I'm feeling the earth moving. Are you feeling that?
My whole body's tingling. I can't. My whole body's buzzing, almost like my energy's rising or something's moving up. I'm not feeling the earth because I'm kind of distracted with my feet buzzing. It's almost like my body's trying to ground itself. I don't know if that ever happens to you guys, like when your feet start to tingle and your hands start to tingle. I really believe that's our bodies trying to ground for whatever reason. You know, maybe we need to ground in that moment and our bodies just automatically do it for us. So I don't know. That's what happens to me when the earth is acting wonky, is I start to tingle.
They're showing 7.7 now. Over here as well. So yeah, this is a major quake, what we're talking about here. And on the Caribbean plate, this was going to transfer across, I would think. So from what Dutch shows, usually trying to remember exactly what he shows. I'm more focused. I got it all memorized over in the Pacific area. And then I know, boom, and it comes down that way, or it could go over. You know, it's going to follow the energy flow. I would guess that the potential would be for a large one in South America, or something coming over into the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Oh gosh, no, we don't want to see La Palma or anything in the Canary Islands. That's one of the scariest scenarios. Yeah, this is definitely a very huge event. And as we see, like, all these reports coming in, the ones that amaze me are the ones that are showing that people, see, they felt it all the way in Nassau, very weak shaking, all the way up in Nassau, the Bahamas. That's a long way away. Mm-hmm. And they felt it in Miami. Obviously, they felt it in the Cayman Islands, and they felt it in Jamaica. They felt it over in Belize City. And over in Mexico as well. Yeah, this one in Miami again. People evacuated the building in Miami. This is most definitely, and then upgrading to a 7.7. Yeah, and you got to be suspicious always and thinking that things are probably higher than what they're telling us, and if they're upgrading to a 7.7. Here's another report from Miami. This is 670 kilometers north-northwest from the epicenter. Very weak shaking. The fact that you could feel it in Miami at all is just a testament to how strong this was. There's something going overhead out there right now. It's been very active with planes. Here's another one downtown Miami. 706 kilometers from the epicenter. Weak shaking, sitting in my office, 31st floor, started swaying, saw the lights in my office swaying. Other buildings close by reported the same thing as well. St. Petersburg, Florida. St. Petersburg, very weak shaking. We felt our office building swaying in St. Petersburg. Are you kidding me? Wow.
That's absolutely incredible. You know, whatever is incoming is pretty darn strong. You know, and if our shields are down, I don't know, we might be in alignment for more of this to come. So it's just, you know, gives reason to be prepared and have some food set aside, and any little thing that you can do for your family to prepare is worth doing. And just because it's not perfect, or just because it's not how some other sciencey guru person does it, doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. You know, just get done whatever you can get done. You know, and then everything else will fall into place the way it should. But yeah, we've ordered quite a lot of food and stuff online, and still debating. We probably won't go run into Walmart, but we might not. Kind of depends on how we're feeling. I was thinking if we went late at night, maybe there wouldn't be very many people, because usually they're just cleaning and stocking at night.
But recognize that, you know, the virus can be on things like, you know, obviously you grab a cart, you know, so you know, now it's really like you might as well go in, if you're going to go in a hazmat suit,
Right.
You know. Kelly Moore, where are you, Kelly? You're feeling trembles. I mean, I keep feeling it through my foot chakras, and I there.
It's like my body's trying to ground itself.
I keep feeling it. It feels like right now, waves of energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you feel that?
Yeah.
I feel it. There's waves of energy coming through right now. Yeah. Is there anybody in like Miami in the chat room right now? I'm wondering if you guys felt it. Nicole, Spencer, you've been dizzy all day. I forget where you are, Nicole, as well. Oh yeah, I am still feeling waves of energy coming through the ground strongly. This was a big one. This is definitely a big one, guys.
Yeah, I don't know what the Schumann Resonance is doing right now. I don't know how to read the magnetosphere stuff, but just remember they have control over all that equipment too, so we have to really listen to our bodies and understand. And West Virginia, okay, Nicole, so I've gone through this dizzy stuff pretty bad, like in the last week. It got so bad I was almost bedridden, but a lot of grounding, and take it easy on yourself. Eat really, really healthy food. I mean, just be so good to yourself. Do whatever makes you happy. So things, you know, it could be like little panic attacks and stuff like that. So you really need to pamper yourself and rest as much as possible. That should help it subside a little bit. Oh, good. I'm glad. Okay. Then just keep resting some more, you know, and eat really good food. What is this?
The Schumann. It's at a 54. So we've had some spikes. You can see we've had some pretty good spikes. We've seen more intense numbers before, but it is definitely getting some pretty good spikes there.
Yeah, those are some nice spikes. Those, her heartbeat is really important right now. And I think with the shields down, things are going to be much more sensitive to her, like with these big earthquakes and stuff. And that could be why our feet are pulsing, trying to ground. Our bodies are going to be able to tell us what we need to do. And right now it's really important to listen to them as much as possible. Do what makes you feel good. Just be comfortable. At the same time, prep a little bit. All of this is work, but it doesn't mean we have to be miserable when we're doing it. Try to put yourself in a happy frame of mind. Smile. I had a really good friend told me, you know what, you just need to smile, because that puts out the happy hormones that your body needs, and it'll actually help you make better decisions too if you just smile. I know it sounds just so simple, but sometimes the simplest things are the best things. Yeah, I don't know how to read any of this or what it means or...
Well, all the activity is relatively low, but that's not necessarily a good thing, especially when you get these flat times like this here. Just simply, as we know, the interaction between the solar particles coming in with the shields of the Earth is part of what protects us. So when you have very low activity, it can also lower our shields even more. So, as far as what's going on here, there's really nothing much going on here. We have been seeing the sun starting to wake up, so as far as solar cycles go. And I do look forward to speaking more in depth with David Dubine, maybe in the next day or two, about this and going into it. Again, the thing that we've been talking about, the thing that he was stressing the most is the food situation. And, the other thing too, what's going on right now with China, with the virus situation, is not only are they suffering and people are dying in mass over there, but the economy is just getting shattered because everything is shutting down. And we're going to go more into that in a later, we'll probably on our second live when we come back later today, in depth. But, the economy is getting trashed over there. And with people dying left and right in the streets, it sounds like, well, who cares about the economy? But long term, no food, no supplies, no anything is going to keep building up, which equals desperate people, which will end up with, desperate people in the streets, which will end up with leadership getting scared that they're going to be able to keep power without getting the military to go out and enforce their will. And then when soldiers get hungry, then everything gets very, very tense, to say the least. And that's when you could have, as David has talked about so many times, dynasties fall in these times. Governments fall in these times. People overthrow them in these times because, when people get fed up and people are starving, they get desperate. And that's what's going on right now. I mean, I showed you the video before of the women just fighting. It's worse than that, what I'm hearing from people on the inside, literal fist fights, and you hear shots ringing out because of people, stealing food from other people. It's, again, everybody should be prepping to the highest degree you possibly can right now. I don't think that we are in a period of time where we're saying it's going to be another dry run. I don't think this is dry run. This is real. And maybe over here, maybe we have 2 to 4 weeks before things get to be a lot tighter. So be aware of that and use this time wisely. Now is the time to really use this time wisely.
David said he worked out the compass change here, and it's 7 degrees, which is 420 miles. That's quite a lot. That's quite a shift. It makes you wonder, how stable is our planet sitting out there in space? I mean, how much can we wiggle and not really be affected? It just makes you wonder. It feels like we should be locked in a certain position, but I don't think we are. I don't think they tell us the truth about our planet and like how it works and the physics of everything. Because if they did, I think a lot of people would be out of a lot of work because they wouldn't have so much crap to be selling us, and we could figure things out on our own. So, I mean, I don't know. I just wonder, like, how stable are we out in space? It's really curious, but yeah, Michael's right. This is like, if it's starting to feel like a go time, just really get your ducks in a row the best you can. And like, if you're feeling dizzy, like Nicole, that could also be your higher self trying to come into alignment. And that's why it's really important to do what you like, do what you love, because your guides are not going to let you off the hook. Like certain things I can't do. If I try to do something I don't like, I'll just get dizzy. I mean, my guides won't let me. I have a purpose and I need to do it.
So one of my dear friends in the Tampa area felt it, and she said she felt the energy wave, and a little ladder next to her fell on the floor.
Wow.
And this is in Tampa, the Tampa area. Pretty pretty significant, to say the least, guys. And so, be aware of the potential. Now, this is a shallower quake, which usually those don't move energy to cause another massive quake like if it was deeper. And we don't know. And let me go refresh here and check, because the big thing I was worried about, honestly, and the reason why I came on was to send prayers to everybody. Let's mitigate the effects if there is a tsunami incoming. Let's see it disperse and dispense and not sweep away people and houses and homes. Let's see what we got going. Sorry, it's taking me so long with the one-handed typing here.
Hold it. So while he looks this up, I'll just sort of kind of hold the mic here for him. Yeah, 7.7. Gosh, this is a big one. It's a lot going on. And it's so shallow, too. So shallow, and so many people are feeling it, like energetically and physically, on the 3D level, too.
It's right on the plate. Gotta wonder what part of the bigger picture here.
So I think sending intention for people to be safe and be able to get out of the way and do what's best for them in that moment, so that they're safe and their family members are safe. And like Michael said, send out the intention to try to disperse any damage or mitigate any damage that may have been done or is being done right now. Like, I'm worried about the tsunami that's going to come in. I remember, I think it was Christmas or the day after Christmas. I forgot exactly which year. The tsunami came in, and it just really took out so many people. And we still watch videos from that. I hope nothing like that happens here. I just really hope and pray nothing like that happens here. I mean, in Jamaica or here, for that matter.
How often do you see them upgrading it, instead of downgrading? So
right.
It gets you really wondering, were we really looking at something that was like an 8.0, like a mega quake?
Yeah, usually they're on top of it to downgrade it right away. And I don't know, I don't think I've ever seen another time when they've actually upgraded it. That's totally, totally new behavior.
And see, here's another one talking about humongous earthquake between Cuba, Jamaica, and the Caymans. It was so big, Miami felt it. Buildings downtown were evacuated. That's one thing I never considered thinking about. In Florida, one of the things I always thought of, we might have to worry about hurricanes, but we don't got to worry about earthquakes. But then we had that swarm, too, and right along the Florida, Georgia, Alabama line. Small, but still, there are old faults too that will wake up in these times. Faults that we haven't seen any activity of. So,
how long ago? Would this happen about an hour ago?
Yeah, it's about an hour ago. And so many reports coming in of shaking, as we said, over the whole area. Tons and tons of reports coming in. So this is Quintana Roo, Mexico. 4th floor, my building, shake for about 10 seconds, stopped, and then start shaking again. And so, we're talking about shaking in Belize, which is right here, and all through Mexico as well. And obviously a lot of shaking in Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, Cuba as well. The last time we had one, I think there was another one that came by on this side of the plate, like over around Venezuela. I have to share, guys, I had a weird dream last night. It was really weird, and it had something to do with troops being sent down from Arizona to Venezuela, and it was just weird. Kind of a bizarre night of dreams and having, a lot of interrupted sleep.
Yeah, I know. We were talking to benevolent beings, and like the fan starts to shift and sort of slow down as we're asking questions and getting feedback. That was really curious, and usually I get feedback through my own body through like tingles and different auric hugs and stuff like that. I was getting those. Plus, we were getting the fan was shifting down and up. It was weird.
Well, I know my mom's been around because she passed on just about 4 or 5 days ago, and I could sense her, I could see her when I meditate, and I could sense her too, because she'll actually come and like touch my cheek or touch my shoulder, and Cindy's a really, really strong empath and intuitive, so she actually has gotten messages from her as well. She's fine, and I know we go on, and actually, she was always so active. This is a woman that would walk a mile, to go to the grocery store and come back with like 3 bags of groceries because we were a 1-car family, and, they never had any money, my parents. And so, we just always went, paycheck to paycheck type thing. And it made it so that like me and her would go shopping and we just would carry the groceries back. And gosh, you think about that nowadays. Yeah, that sounds almost medieval. But, she was in such good shape. And then just the last year, she wasn't able to get around a lot. Her hip deteriorating, and her ability to move around deteriorating. So Cindy can sense that she's so happy she's in her energy body now and can move around freely and out of the pain. And so, it's a transition. I actually feel that that's more like waking up, and this is more like the dream. I think the reality that we're in here is much more not the real reality. And this is more like being in the Matrix, and so we have to stay calm, but at the same time, we want to basically help as many people as we can. We want to change the world, make the world a better place, and that's why we're here. Try to spread love and light and positivity, bring up the energy here before we go home to the other side.
Right. And I think, as far as lucid dreaming is concerned, this is the part where we can control through intention in our actions. And I sort of feel like if you make a decision and you do something, like the dominoes fall in a certain way, or there's some kind of a chessboard, like 60, 70 or something like that. And when a chess piece is moved, it sort of trickles its way down here to the 3D, but we have the ability to move those chess pieces up on the higher levels and stuff. So we do have control of this. It might not always show up in the form that we want it to, but we can control our reality. What I do is I think of a goal, or I think of how I would like to see something turn out. And then I'm flexible as far as how the pieces fall together. Because that's part of the game. I don't think our human experience is supposed to be interrupted, and that's why, we don't get as much information as we want to a lot of the time. But yeah, I mean, that's how I do it. I picture something and then I let the pieces fall into place where they're going to, and that seems to work for me. It took a long time to learn that, though. It took a lot of wanting things to be done a certain way and trying to force things, to be done a certain way. But you have to let go. You just have to let go of all of these other things and know that it's going to be okay and be flexible.
Yeah, definitely. This is pretty wild stuff. I'm just double checking, seeing if anything else is happening. Now, it's interesting. We don't have any other aftershocks, so that's something to be aware of as well. There's no aftershocks coming through, so that would kind of make me a little bit more apprehensive. And, Dutch obviously knows more than I do about these things. Most of what I learned from him and then other stuff on the side. But no aftershocks. That's interesting because, usually you'll see a whole bunch of smaller ones. So it makes me wonder how is the energy transferring? Is it building? And then you got to wonder, is this a precursor or is this the big event? With nothing else coming out, it just makes you wonder.
It does. There shouldn't there be aftershocks? Like, isn't that a normal, natural thing? And so what if there's no aftershocks? I mean, what could we be looking at?
Was something, maybe it's not done. Maybe it's building. Maybe this is more of a prequel.
Ew, that doesn't sound too good. Yeah, Dutch would know a lot more about this, and I'll be checking him out a little bit. He's got some good information, and he's onto a lot of things, and I think that's why he and others like him, we get picked on because we are onto things and they don't want us to be. But yeah, that's really concerning if there's no aftershocks. It's just sitting there quiet. A silence before the storm. I don't like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and lots of comments on stuff. Yeah, Tesla had an earthquake machine over 100 years ago. So, that's just something to keep in mind. This one agency was reporting it as a 7.8. Wow. Look at the estimated released energy, 334.4 atomic bombs equivalent.
Wow.
And again, tons of reports of shaking all over, basically hundreds of miles away. Up into the Bahamas, Miami, and even up into Tampa, St. Pete. And, it's like Florida is really nothing but a big sandbar when you get down to it. The sandbar on top of limestone. So, like we were saying, when the new Madrid hits, the energy is going to transfer over a much larger area because it's the craton. It's the densest, hardest rock that there is, in North America there. And that's what's different about, like, if California gets hit. It won't transfer energy as far as it will, like, when the new Madrid comes. And we've been looking to Cascadia, and, we've been talking about that as well. Because that one it's known that there is going to be a big one there. It's just a matter of time as well. And wherever we look, wherever we live, we always are going to have challenges, and especially in these times. Juno Beach, Florida, moderate shaking. I felt shaking in my building in Juno Beach, Florida, among several other people. Daytona Beach shores. Sitting in chair on 8th floor in condo, felt very weak shaking back and forth. Another one, Daytona Beach, 10th floor, business office, shaking. All right, we're starting to get some photos in here. You can see stuff knocked all over the place. Looks like the Coors Light display kind of made it through intact. A lot of wine on the floor, though. West,
No.
I know.
Oh.
That's so bad.
Yeah.
West Palm Beach, Florida, inside 2nd floor of building, felt by all co-workers. Some items on the walls swung lightly. Okay, Aruba did not feel. Miami Beach did, as we were talking about. Lake Mary, Florida. Very weak shaking. My chair seat moved 3 times. I experienced a bad earache as well. Pressure changes there. Downtown Miami, very weak shaking. Of course, in Jamaica, we had some serious shaking. Very scary. Power lines shook. Objects started to vibrate. Yeah, quite a few reports coming out of Miami. Okay, so Baden town, this was 132 kilometers from the epicenter. Strong shaking, couldn't stand up, had to hold on to something while the houses and the ground was shaking. Playa del Carmen, very weak shaking. Beautiful beach there. And Grand Cayman, sitting by the pool. In Grand Cayman, 2-foot waves formed in the pool. Tables fell over. And then Breathless, Montego Bay in Jamaica. I'm on the rooftop at Breathless in Jamaica, and you feel the entire building shaking back and forth like a train was approaching fast. It was crazy. Cayman Islands was doing an exam. Everything in the room started shaking. Hard to walk straight. Cars were shaking outside. Wow. Look at this in Georgetown. I was on Al Thompson, and the building was shaking quite a lot. People ran out to the parking lot as fast as they could. Black liquid oil was spurting up and out of the manhole in the parking lot, and vehicles were rocking back and forth for some time after. Terrifying. And 7 Mile Beach, Grand Cayman, we're on the 2nd floor by the beach. There was a rumble. The whole building was shaking and swaying. Water coming out of the pool. We ran outside. The water was coming up from the sewers. Worst of it was for a minute, but then up to 5 minutes after, there was still a lot of swaying. People were running from buildings and congregating to wait outside, to wait out the aftershocks.
So Jay Griffin wants to know, where would it go from here?
Yeah, I mean, that's the question. And when we look at this, where's a good one? Okay, so the way that it transfers, you would think that it could either go down south. The last time there was a bigger one over here, we ended up with one off the coast of Venezuela on the other side of the plate. And you see this right here, 4.8. This could be related to that. Let's see what the time is, UTC, 4:24:07. Now that came before. So, over here, most definitely transferring over to the Atlantic Ridge. The Mid-Atlantic Ridge through here. Or going on down through. So, along South America, in the usual areas, anywhere from Ecuador, Peru, Chile, Argentina, along that line as well. And, something could be up to something pretty similar, or maybe a magnitude lower, Whereas, if it was a deeper quake, then you'd be looking for even stronger energy transference. And, oh wow, look what we got going over here. Still got all this swarming going on. Turkey. Yeah, don't forget about Turkey. There was a lot going on there as well. And it's not deep, but always curious about the antipode as well, the opposite side of the earth from here, which, if I remember right, it is off the western coast of Australia. It is antipodal. If I remember right, I'd have to check into that again as well. So yeah, this is a big one, guys. This is a big one, as we have so many people saying that, it appears that the compass has shifted. Tsunami threat message issued after 7.7. I'm just waiting for this thing to start to load and blast us out. Okay, I got the sound off anyway. But it shouldn't be too big, 1 to 3 feet above tide level for the coasts of Jamaica, Belize, Cuba, Honduras, Mexico, Cayman Islands. Yeah, and as we were saying, felt way as far away as Havana, Miami, even farther away than that. Some people in the Cuban capital were evacuating taller buildings. No initial
Harness
reports
the force of innovation
damage
with GE
right now or
Profile.
casualties.
See Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Now
that's-
playing.
Well, that's good. No casualties. And Rue says he's feeling more movement again in my heart. I feel stabbing in the dead center of my chest, and sometimes that's an indicator of an energy shifting or an energy change. It sure makes you curious know what's going on. And Jay Griffin says, thank you.
All of a sudden that energy is released by seismic waves, like ripples on a pond.
So sometimes that's an indicator that the energy is shifted around us when my heart
An
starts
earthquake can occur
stabbing.
very near the surface of the earth. Those earthquakes are typically very
really
destructive.
big. I'm
or as
curious
deep
to
as
see what's going
400
on.
miles down into the
with
crust.
the,
now, where the shaking actually happens,
the compasses,
that's called
the way they're
hypocenter.
off,
But
that's really strange. And someone else in the chat room, I noticed, Dutch says it's going to head to California next. So that's a little bit concerning, So we'll just hold prayer for everybody to be safe right where they're at, and no fear. Just prepare as best you can. I think a lot of times things are probably not as bad as what we might think that they might be. So, it's kind of like you just want to stay stable in your head and take back your own power. Don't live in fear, because that's how they control us. They put us in a box of fear, and then we're easily controlled. We are so easily controlled.
So guys, we're going to break right now on this one and get back to work on putting together all the new info on the virus situation, which, the numbers coming in are very, very disconcerting, what we are hearing. And I'm still waiting to hear back from a couple sources, but I have gotten some feedback from people this morning that are very, as I said, super disconcerting right now. So we will probably come back on for another live, maybe in about 4 hours or so, and there'll probably be a video out in between that. And thank you guys so much for your support, as always, on Ko-Fi and Patreon as well, keeping us going through these times. Again, I want to stress that just like it felt in August of 2017, like things went up a whole notch, it feels like everything has come out and gone up another big notch right now.
It does. It feels like the energy shifted, something moved. And, we really do appreciate your guys' support. And I'm really happy to be able to hop on the chat with you guys and we exchange information. It means a lot to me.
So as always, my friends, much love. We love you guys. Thank you so much for your support. Be prepared. Take everything to another level as far as your preparations, whatever you could do for you and your family. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.